Dick Cluskey, founder of the Serious Writers Guild all those years ago, 1996 now. 52 countries, 3,653 members I think it is we've got at the moment. All hugely successful. Are you a member? Makehits.com, 4 minutes on the net with Dick. Teaching you, if you want to learn, all the bits and pieces of highly successful people in the music industry. So we've got guitars, the series I'm doing at the moment. We've had a couple now. We're on to number, I think it's number 3, is it? Lost count. Strings. I've been asked to talk about strings. Strangely enough, strings haven't changed much in the past, donkey's years. When I started first, and you may remember yourself, and some people still use them, flat wound strings, hard to say that. Flat wound strings were the thing. I started playing with an ancient Hofner committee guitar, which would be worth a fortune today, and that was flat wound strings, and they gave a round, very warm tone. And then it all went on to wire wound, which you get today, wire wound. Now flat round, I'll put a little bit playing in the background, and that'll be nowadays associated with jazz playing. All the jazz players like that warm mesa boogie sound out of their guitar, and that would be normally a cello guitar. So then we get onto the acoustic strings. Acoustic strings, I would have to say, you get what you pay for. Now I know there are very many number of strings out there. D'Addario, Ernie Ball, there's loads of strings. But I tend to, and most of my pals, the proper guys who make money out of playing guitar, tend to stick to the same type of strings. And I'll show you what we use. For acoustic guitar, to get that big, warm, zingy, jangly sound, the huge sound, this is what I use, and a lot of my pals use them. Ernie Ball earth wound strings. You can use any sort of gauge you want, but normally the top string that we would use would be about 12 top down to about 42 or 47, 52 even bottom. But that's purely to suit the way you want to play. I do know that people like Tommy Emmanuel now are going on to very, very light strings. And here's an example. I had them there a second ago. Oh yes, these Martin strings. Martin strings, excellent. You know, for every string is going to be the same. That's what you're paying for, is that every string is going to be the same. You won't get any duds. And here's a typical set that I would use on, say, a special guitar, say one of my Gibsons. I would string it this way. And these are extra light, and they're bronze strings. And these are from 10 down to 47. Now that gives a very light sound and a different sound. But that's for a particular guitar playing. As I say, Tommy Emmanuel uses this type of setup. He'll even, I've heard, go down to 008 on the top, and that for acoustic guitar is amazing. As regards to the top end of the players, again, the very top end, Gordon Giltrap, a very good friend of mine, introduced me to a company called Newtone. And I'll play a little bit of Gordon in the background, and just to show you the sound that he gets. He has got a particularly identifiable acoustic sound. He's recorded actually exactly here where you're looking at me, and he was astonished at the guitar sound in this studio. And rightly so. I'm very, very blessed that it's got a fantastic sound. But he uses a company called Newtone. I'll put the website on the bottom. I've tried them and they're absolutely amazing. If you look at the blurb on the site, you'll see that they're actually wire wound around a hexagon metal middle, and that seemingly is what gives them their unique sound, and you will hear the unique sound of Gordon. So give it a shot, and they do make custom sets for your particular, whether you want a 008 top or a 12 top, 15 top even. or right down, and they will do custom sets as well. Now, getting onto electric strings, I'd find it astonishing when I'm a Les Paul user, my Les Paul here, and a Fender user, and I use various sort of electric guitars. But at the end of the day, if ever I ask what I consider the experts about what strings to use, they always say Fender, even though it's a Les Paul. And I'm astonished that Gibson don't do a particular string particularly designed and honed for the Les Paul, the Gibson Les Paul, the famous Les Paul. It's very astonishing to me. Of course, the most important bit of advice to give anybody with guitars is you must restring every time you've got an important gig, every time you've got an important session. In fact, the big guys, they restring before every single show. Their guitar techs do that for them, so they're in a lucky position and they can afford it. And I know that you possibly may not be able to afford new strings every gig, but that is the best way to do it, because if you break a string and the bosses for an EMI are in, or Virgin, and they want to sign you, and you break a string and you're stuffed, oh, nightmare for a set of strings. So there we are. But the only guitar you don't restring every time is a baby like this. Very lucky, again, I'm blessed to have this. It is quite an old guitar now, for me, very old, and it's a classical guitar. Sounds absolutely, it's very hard to get the sound in just a normal lavalier mic. Unbelievable sound out of it. But these sort of strings you don't restring all the time. In fact, you have to play them in, and a lot of the top classical guitar players, they'll use strings and they'll hang them with a weight on, for ages, and they know all about strings. But they're the only strings that you don't replace all the time. But isn't that gorgeous? Absolutely gorgeous. I must practice more. But there we are. This is Deck. 4 minutes on the neck with Deck. 4 minutes on the neck. I keep on saying that. 4 minutes on the net with Deck. Makehits.com, Serious Writers Guild. Are you a member yet? You should be. And the famous 10 months of manuals, how to make $1 million from your music. Been around for a while, and it's reviewed and renewed every single year. In fact, it's just been renewed yet again for the 2016 version. Have a look on makehits.com, how to make $1 million from your music. See you next week. Bye.